outdoor stream today because the weather is just so nice. It's very, it just feels very stupid to sit in there seeing this outside. So as long as the audio is good and I can communicate with you guys, let's do it. We are live, right? Very little confirmation from the Harry Berry. Hej Theo, här kommer lite frågor. Harry Berry, can you be inclusive to the rest of the chat and just write in English for the sake of the stream, the content, and all the other people? Because I can of course translate your questions, but it's just easier. I brought my protein yogurt outside today. Would typically finish it right before the stream. I figured, since it's sometimes a little slow to start the streams with questions in the chat and that. Hey, Viriding. I'll go Harry Berry, you bigot. Harry Berry didn't listen to what I said about speaking English. He asked how to restore your diet after having eaten fewer calories for a longer time. Restore your metabolism. Do the same thing in the other direction. Just increase calories little by little. It's like, it's not complicated, these things, guys. In order to lose weight, have to achieve a calorie deficit somehow. It might have to be more aggressive as you get leaner. Then, since you might have lower metabolism from weighing less, or also from having been in a calorie deficit for a long time, just gradually increase the calories again. It's called reverse dieting. I have a client that I will be doing, or like a former client that will come back to me, then we will do this. It's more important to be mindful about when you're someone that has really struggled with weight loss. Like for me, for instance, now I'm doing quite an aggressive cut. It will be done quite soon too, but I won't have crashed my metabolism so much. So the only thing I will do, like I will eat more when I'm done. I just won't overdo it. But for me, it's not so important to like, gradually increase the calories, because I don't really struggle with weight loss. What someone who has gone back and forth, had a really hard time losing the weight. Like part of it should be like consolidating the weight loss, like even just trying to maintain the body weight, then gradually turn it up towards a lean bulk. 19 people and 9 likes. Like my guys that haven't. Pickle tarts. Thanks, Mr. T of the A-team. Well, why, thank you. I've been called Mr. T many times in my life, of course. I think it just happens when you have a name starting on T. Harry Berry asks if I ever took ADHD medication. I was put on it when I was like 15. It wasn't Ritalin, but as most of those, now there are other ones, but most of those are a variant of a chemical called, I don't know how you say it in English. I guess methylphenidate. I know we say in Swedish methylphenidate is probably what it's called. I absolutely hated it, you know. It made me feel, it made it on one hand easier to focus on what is right in front of you, but it made me feel like nervous and anxious for no reason at all times. And I remember also that it made my appetite go away back then. And I remember I was happy that I concluded that this is not worth it. This can't be my life. And it's so crazy when you look back at it. Oh, Theo, incredibly gifted and smart. You can't focus on all the stupid shit we do in school. You need drugs. You need drugs. We need to shoehorn you into the... now I'm taking me as an example. I mean, for all kids, really. Kalle Sirén. What is your take on cardiovascular training, such as running, etc.? Well, it's kind of a big thing to just have a take on. I think it's not that important for someone like myself that weight trains at a very high intensity regularly, you know, like that's the thing, the secret that no one wants to know, like apart from guys that likes to build muscle and lift weights, is that weight training is the best. Like it's so efficient. It's not just muscle. You're gonna get a lot of endurance and hard work when you're not just doing like singles, when you're not like a power lifter, when you're training your whole body through you know with a high intensity, many different movements, not just a low rep range, and you do that like on a daily basis, you get enough cardio for health. Then of course, if you want to improve your cardiovascular performance beyond just health, of course you have to do some too. But so I say it's more important for people that don't center, like they don't, if you weight train twice per week, it's probably a good idea to get some running or the like in too. But honestly, overrated for a lot of people. Emmy, how to avoid severe low blood sugar problems while fasting? Set carb take. Set carb intake if susceptible to low blood sugar already, to still lose fat. Well, this is not really my area of expertise. You know, stuff like that. My mindset is so much like just push through it, you know. I remember when I did fasting back in the day, it was tougher for many reasons. And I probably had low blood sugar at times, but I was just kind of like, but this is what I'm doing, fasting, push through it. And then I felt better after a while. That being said, it's not like if you're doing the fast for weight loss reasons, having like a small bit of carbs, like I don't know, 50 calories worth, won't affect your weight loss anyway. So you just decide what you're looking to get out of the fast, you know. And if having 50 calories of carbs during a fast, for instance, helps you get through it and you do it for weight loss, like go ahead. Andrei Murairu, member of the channel, and also sending a super chat. 11 euros. Hey, really enjoyed your protein yogurt. It's right here, bro. I don't struggle that much with regular fasting, but with eating right in between my fasts. More recipes, please. Trying to go from 18 to 13% body fat. So look, bro, thanks for the super chat. Thing is, I'm completely the wrong guy to come to for recipes, because I just eat food, you know. I put potatoes and meat on my plate and I eat it. It's like, and I eat the same thing almost every day. I have a few meal swaps. It's like with your fasts, see it as part of the fast to refeed on whole foods, and think of like in Sweden, it's a word called maträtt. It's kind of like dish, you know. Stop thinking of your like meals as dishes. I think I eat food. I fuel myself with nutrition. There are some foods that serve different purposes that I like more and less. But so I'm going to do more diet content. I already realized, but it's more like what I want to transfer for you to you when it comes to diet. It's more a way of thinking. It's more of an approach to diet, because someone that is just more into cooking than I am could still eat. It's not that it's wrong to do a little, put a bit more effort into the dishes you do. But someone like myself, I'm very practical. I learned to enjoy very plain food, and it's just so easy for me. And that's why when I work with clients, I don't give more than like, okay, I'll give it advice, like something like this, but I don't really give recipes or meals. I give guidelines, and it's like, you create the meals according to this. We have a discussion about it. But absolutely, I will make more diet content, and thanks for the super chat, Ande. Okay, I have a bit to catch up on here. You know, of course, as we know by now, beef liver, it's okay to cheat with a protein yogurt, to eat it, but we always take one piece for the difficult. Pickle tarts, methylphenidate. It only works if you purely have ADHD. If ADHD was a symptom of a bad lifestyle or bad upbringing, ADHD meds may not work as expected. ADHD is fucking made up, okay? There is no ADHD gene. The diagnose, it captures certain behaviors, certain traits that can have many different reasons, genetic or environmental, you know. And first of all, what it definitely isn't is like a disease that needs to be medicated. It's the disease is that society forces everyone into the same thing. Like so-called ADHD kids, they should not go in school in the same way. Like they are completely different needs. Not that I necessarily think the way that school currently works is the best for like most kids even, but it's a completely made up thing, really. And if it's a thing, it's not something that should be viewed as like a condition you need medication for. It just is not. The medication is to force you to be more like a person that you're not. Just embrace. That's what I've done all the time. You know, my mom traumatized me a lot with all the talk about us ADHD people. We are like this, and we have to think about this, and other people are like that, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like, but I want to focus on it being a strength. It is a strength. I've accomplished things most people can't accomplish because of the way I am. It's not something that should be medicated away, you know. Larry Lima, yo, should I jump on test 500? No, absolutely not. Like, of course not. The message of this channel is no steroids. Like, I mean, I want to say it in the right way, but I look down on steroid use, okay? Like generally, you know, people do what they want. But really, if you're not going to be competing in bodybuilding or powerlifting, if you're not going to be the elite of the elite in something, why are you going to ruin yourself with drugs when you can accomplish a lot without them? You know, absolutely no is my answer to that. Alco, anytime I started getting results from running, I'd wind up with shin splints about a mountain bike for low impact cardio. Yeah, but you can also train the tibialis. I've trained the tibialis, you know. It is that muscle opposing the calf on the front of the lower leg. And it's a great way to both strengthen the knees and the shins. So whatever you want, of course, but just know. That's the thing too, with all these different cardio activities. It's often necessary. If you're gonna do stuff like that with a lot of impact, like running, to strengthen the joints with strength training. Pigs 76. I am on the MTS front pull down machine doing one arm exaggerated reps. Okay, you're in the gym watching the stream and you're training your lats. It sounds like. Harry Berry just refuses to speak. You know what, Harry? I'll ignore your questions until you speak in English to include the other guys. Pickle tarts. We really appreciate listening to you, Theo. Thank you very much for your time with Livestream. Well, thank you for appreciating it, my man. It is my pleasure once I'm here, but I have to admit, before this time on a Sunday, I'm like, I wish I could just chill, do whatever I want for the rest of the day. But it is just kind of the best time to have a set stream when most people following the channel can do it. And always when I'm here, I like it. But it is, of course, like an appointment I have to have. Pigs 77. Weight training is great for old people trying to maintain bone density. I am always surprised it's not a focus at senior homes. Yeah, but look, it is good for seniors to maintain bone density, but it's something even better if you do it before you like have to do it. That's the thing. Your muscles and bones are not doomed to just go away because you get older. It's due to lifestyle. Moving too little, being too sedentary, and eating too little protein. So yeah, it is good for old people, and it's not too late when you're old to reverse some of the things. But of course, it's even better. You just build this foundation when you're young. Calacerian. A healthy liver should regulate your sugar indefinitely so long as you're eating sufficient amount of calories. I guess speaking of like reverse dieting and stuff, yeah. Let's just to impress you guys, let's keep eating more raw liver pieces. Pig 76. I'm using chia seeds to regulate my blood sugars. Okay? And it's working. And pickle tarts has more complications, especially at senior homes when they have more vulnerabilities. There are a number that have physio weight sessions. The discussion about bone density and that. Yeah, I'm going to keep that discussion going a bit. Kalle said again. For many, the average blood sugar actually goes up during fasting, especially the first 36 hours. Yeah. Harry Barry, how is your brother doing nowadays? What's his thoughts on your transformation from beta to giga chat? Well, thanks for switching to English for all the other guys. My brother is too different to have like an opinion on my transformation, you know. Like it doesn't, like he is like, oh, you're strong, Theo. Oh, you have muscles. But he is too low functioning, to be plain, to even like figure out and have too much of an opinion on it. But I have taken him to train a few times, but it's kind of the same. It's like it's hard to get him to understand why he should do this thing that feels bad to do when he doesn't have to. Like, of course, that's how all people work in a sense. Like, that's why you feel resistance towards physical effort, because technically you don't have to do it, you know, most of the time. But it's just that most people can still think like, yeah, but I should for my health and that. He just can't make connections like that. So he's doing well on and off, but he has a lot of struggles too. Funnily enough, I can see, even though he's so different, he is my brother, I can see that it's the same spiritual problem. It's just that he is born very differently than most, but I can see that the same things he like worries about is kind of, oh, what will people think about me? Or I want to belong, you know, I want to feel of use, these kinds of things. Thoughts on Nick Fuentes? General thoughts on him, like there's a lot about Nick I like. You know, I'm not the guy to just buy into the whole, oh, he's just a Nazi kind of thing. I will say I follow that sphere, like on internet, you know, both the political side and the drama side of things before. But you know, it's like I don't have too much of an opinion. He's interesting to listen to, clearly smart. I'm sure there are some political things I don't agree with him too, but I'm not too updated on him these days. Harry Barry, it's like very personal question. How is the state nowadays between you and your woman? I kind of feel like that's none of your business, and that if I want to talk about it, I will. But you know, it's not great. I love her very much. But there are many problems and obstacles in the way. I've said many times here, look, I wish I could tell you exactly everything about everything in my life. I do as well as I can, but it's kind of frustrating because I would like to tell you some things about that, but there are some things I can't say, and it becomes like, I don't know, I'm trying to hug you while having my hands tied beneath my back. It's a difficult situation. I honestly don't even know if I have a girl, in a sense. I hope so. I would love to, but at a point it's like, I hate to say that, but you know, love might not be enough. But it's an open situation, okay? We'll see what happens. Have you ever had problems with eye contact? Have myself an experience that other people feel like you see through them and getting mad? Can you recognize that? I wonder if it's something that has to do with ADHD. But first of all, I don't really think ADHD is a legitimate thing, so no. I mean, problems with eye contact, I think in certain situations, not generally. Like, I look at people all the time. When you're shy, when you're carrying feelings of shame and guilt and stuff, you can have problems with eye contact. If you're just a weirdo that doesn't really pick up on social cues and that it's not always appropriate to stare people down, you might get some kind of response from that. But yeah. DK, I have a question. How much protein do you eat to maintain your current mass? I find that the more I shave my protein and up my carbs, the better I seem to gain. And obviously still at 1 gram per pound. Like, I don't even think about it that much. It's like all these things that people think matter don't really. Like, it's kind of like just eat enough protein, you know. I will always just kind of aim for like, yeah, like 1 gram per pound or 2 grams per kilo, and I don't really worry if I'm slightly below or above. It's like as long as I'm feeling good, making gains, or you know, I'm doing good enough. It's like a big picture thinking I want to transfer to everyone, that you know, it matters. Protein matters. Many things you can say that they matter, and even matter a lot. It's just that when you understand that, it's like, it's not that it has to be to the gram. It's like you shouldn't eat 50 grams of protein per day, but if you eat 150 or 200, it's not going to be a huge difference, you know. Got a super chat. Alcove. Training to failure and consuming 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight has been the difference between getting results and staying the same. Yeah, and you see, eating enough protein and training hard and applying progressive overload. Yes, appreciate the super chat, but I don't have much more to add to that. That's kind of spot on. Pickle tarts, nearing my 40s in about 1.5 years. I am grateful for your message, Theo, not just for me, but for the upcoming fellow humans growing up, adolescents, 20s, 30s. It continues to remind me on discipline. Well, I appreciate that. It's really heartwarming, actually, to get that kind of response, because, like, really all I want here is to, the things I found that work very well for me, and kind of unusual things that I see, and kind of little, what should I say? Well, I feel like apart from these things, I can feel a space that is a little bit empty now. Many people are lost. I think I can bring a certain guidance to a lot of people. And when I get that direct feedback like that, it really warms my heart, because it tells me I'm on the right path. So I appreciate that, my man. Harry Berry says, show us your new apartment. No. Tell us about your years in school and the problems you had. It's like, bro, you're asking so many things, and long things too, that there are other guys here too, my man. And Alco concludes that Harry Barry is a lunatic. Yeah, you seem like kind of a weirdo, like you've been inside on your computer too much. More liver? Light Fury. Hello, Theo. Hope you're having a good day. What's your general thoughts on the Noble Natty community? Okay, Alex, Jeffrey, NH, etc. Love those guys. Absolutely love them. I am having a good day, by the way. I hope you are too. But yeah, those are the kinds of guys. Like, I will put out technical training info for you too here. I've had footage for like one push workout, one pull workout, and one leg workout, and so I have the material to do training videos. But as you know, this channel is a little wider. It's like philosophy, self-development as a whole, and I happen to think holistic bodybuilding, as I call it, it's a cornerstone of the entire process. So what I mean to say with all of this is that while I will want to teach you some of the technical side of the training, this is never going to be just the fitness camp, the bodybuilding channel. You know, it's going to be bigger. So these guys that you mentioned are the kinds of guys that I would refer you to when you study further. Like Alex, I don't remember, you mean Alpha Destiny, right? Alex Leonidas, Jeffrey Verity Schofield, Natural Hypertrophy, Bald Omni-Man too. There you have, like, I would say these are the best guys to get your info from. Also, guys, you know, it just so happens that these guys, they're super smart, super hardworking and consistent, and they all have such great genetics. You know, they must have, because they look so good and they're so strong, you know. can't be a correlation between the being smart and working hard and being consistent, you know. And somehow that always coincides with having really good genetics for bodybuilding. Oops. La infamia. Do you think that men lost testosterone as modern medicine says we do? Of course. I mean, that it's not even a question of yes or no, you know. Or I mean, it's not something to discuss. It has happened, and that's whether you look at the numbers in the science, or just look at how men are these days. Obviously. Pig 76. You need to have giving advice to Harry. You need to have a method of developing trust over time. Don't buy into love, hate bombing. Where is that from? Oh, ever had any problem with narcissistic abuse from other people? In other words, narcissistic people that come as an angel of light, but completely deceives you. Like, I haven't had that full-on thing, but like, look, as many mothers, my mom that I love definitely has narcissistic tendencies, you know. I have definitely, because I am an empath, and certain kind of people can pick up on the fact that you want to be a help, and that, which is a good thing when you can have boundaries, and when you recognize when someone wants to use you, you know. So I wouldn't say narcissistic abuse, but I've definitely had people with traits in that direction, like using me earlier in life. How cool. A mental trick I use to help train to failure during my sets is when it starts getting really difficult, I convince myself the whole set is wasted unless I push to the point of failure. You know, I have a similar thing going, except it's not something to convince yourself. It's like true, you know, like if you don't go to failure, if you stop several reps short of failure, it's kind of like, yeah, I did everything exactly up until the point where it would start to matter that I had done those things, and then I stopped. Like for me, it's more like, you know, I enjoy it many times at this point. Like I've actually become like a masochist with certain aspects of the training that for me, it's like, that's why I love to do drop sets and stuff too, because kind of like I'm in the gain zone, you know, let's make the most of it. Doesn't matter that it burns and I'm like, wah! It's just like, I'm here now. It's kind of like when you're far into a fast, I almost feel like I kind of want to keep going because I'm several days in now. You know, I'd have to start over to get here again. Same with a set of failure. I'm in the game zone. Let's keep it going. Disney Doobie, 4.99 US super chat. Hello from Orlando, Florida. Your approach is a breath of fresh air. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that, man. Both your words and the super chat. Thanks a lot. Can I say again? I agree with the earlier feedback. I'm a married guy with kids just north of 40. Your work is very important for many of the lost younger men in a society that hates masculinity. Keep it up. Well, I appreciate it, Kalle. Kalle, another Swedish guy, of course. We exchanged some words on Instagram this weekend, and I appreciate it. Yeah, honestly, I'm. You know, it's so difficult to say without sounding completely full of yourself, but I think I'm a great representative of masculinity, you know, doing all the hard stuff, the discipline stuff, but skipping all this toxic anti-women stuff and such that often, yeah, well, the toxic thing that gets into many supposedly masculine smears and that. So, yeah, I appreciate hearing it from you guys, but I feel good about what I'm doing here. Solvent, say, you motivate me to be a better man. Well, I appreciate that, bro. Stick around and we'll all motivate each other. You see, Joe Bishman, greetings from Ohio, USA. Greetings, Joe. La infamia. But I wanted to say, if we should lose testosterone so fast, if you do your homework, training, tanning, training, sleeping, it shouldn't happen so fast as modern science, medicine says it happens. Well, look, like our entire environment is poisoning us on many levels, you know, like just there are pollutions in the air. We fabrics we wear are toxic. Different products we use are toxic. Many don't train or exercise. They don't eat well. They don't sleep well. They don't get outside and get sunlight. They don't exercise. Like people don't do their homework. Haven't you noticed? People just go with the flow in a bad way, you know. So I don't know why you think it's so surprising. The good news, though, with the perspective that you're bringing, is of course that it can quite easily be turned around just with lifestyle. Um, and that's the thing. These comments I get on that. Oh, if you aren't on test, your natural supply high. You know, it definitely wasn't before I started this. I so wish I had a measurement from back then, because it's just all I know about what things lead to low testosterone, and the way what I know about how I was, you know, like much more weaker and more emotional, you know, unstable person, um, that drank a lot of beer, ate junk food, neglected sleep, didn't exercise, got some sunlight in the summer, but that's it. Like, you know, and then changing it around for training super consistently, eating super well, learning to prioritize sleep. Even if sleep has always been a difficult thing for me, mostly my sleep has been, especially taking that into account, it's been quite on point throughout these years. Sunlight too. But honestly, guys, this is one thing too. It's kind of, I'm now it's the ADHD brain to use that lingo, even if I don't believe too much in that. Um, just to make a connection to something else. You know, I get a lot of comments about steroids and genetics and all this lately. And it's honestly, I talk about it quite a bit because it's simultaneously fascinating, annoying, and flattering at the same time, you know. And the one thing I thought about now is this: it's not just the level of muscle mass. Just see how his face has changed. See how his voice has changed. Oh, his entire vibe is different. And what I realized before I got many comments like this, is that it's just behave like a man, do masculine things. It will take an expression in the way you look. The way you are will show on the outside, even in a thing like the face and your entire body language and everything, you know. So, you know, just doing, apart from the standard things of training, eating well, sleeping, sunlight, just pushing yourself, you know, the cold exposure stuff, the sauna stuff, just what I'm doing now, eating on the liver. Like, the liver is of course good nutrition. It's like now I've learned to do this, but it's like facing all these little discomforts and stuff, you just become more manly. It's like you become hard by doing hard stuff. The devouring mother, classic archetype. Yeah. I gauge my training effectiveness by how well I am sleeping. Usually heavy lifts equals lots of sleep. Well, if it works for you, but it's generally like, if you sleep well, like, I just know sometimes I'm just the way I am. You know, if we're talking about these diagnoses like ADHD and stuff, I'd rather describe myself as bipolar, not, and I'm not having the like exact diagnosis in mind, just the way that I am. That I'm I'm always tended to have really high highs and low lows. So sometimes in my life I'm just so wound up generally that I have a hard time going to sleep. But when I'm closer to the center, it's more like, it's not just about training. It's like might have just been too inactive if I have a hard time sleeping, and just having been active. Like on the day here when we had the 10K watch stream, so the Saturday last weekend, I had just been so active that entire day, and after the stream, I was just like, "Ugh," like that. Ethan, when did you learn English? Did learning a language play into your transformation at all? Look, in Sweden, people generally speak English really well. It's because we learn it in school since early, and then it's just that, I mean, I am I am intelligent. I had an easy time with math and language as a kid in general. But what I mean is, generally, people here speak good English. So I remember when I learned to actually communicate better with English was through online gaming, because you have to learn to communicate with the people there. And then, you grow up, you watch a ton of movies and TV shows, and yeah, like the only thing, I guess, my flow, because of having done videos now for like 5 years, has become better, and my accent isn't quite as hard. But I wouldn't say that it played into my transformation. It's more like, yeah, just like everything else about me has gotten better throughout these years. Also, my English. DK. I still find myself being motivated to go to gym 4 times a week to impress women. I'm older than you, but can't seem to get over that high from seeing the opposite sex respond to my results. How did you get over this particular hump? It's a very interesting one. That's hard to answer like exactly, but you should examine your relationship with your mother first of all. Because that's what I notice. That all guys can be like little suckers for women's attention and want to get laid and stuff. But I see that guys that really are stuck in this, that they would even bring it up like you do now, like my former self. Um, it comes a lot from the poor relationship with the mother. We don't think about it that way, because it's not this that people misunderstand that we like were attracted to our mother or something. It's just that the lack of love from the feminine we experienced with our mother, we try to make up for that by, getting validation from other women, and we confuse sex with love. Now, of course, you're just talking about the 10, but it's not just a 10. You're just, getting something from the girl. And so what I would say, um, for me, it just happened a lot when after this panic attack phase, I just noticed afterwards that I suddenly don't feel this huge need to get, well, sex or attention from girls. And what I think is that this love I had been looking for outside of myself, I was getting from within. I was telling myself, like, Jennifer, you're doing well. I'm proud of you. You are a good guy. I love you. That's the messages that came from within. Because when I was running after girls a lot, I know that I didn't feel good about myself, and it was the way I tried to make myself feel better. So, it's not just about the mother, but what I mean is that examine that, your relationship to your mother, but mainly to yourself. Like, do you get validation from within? Are you what you think a man or a good person should be? Because that's the thing. Um, you have to like, look at it like this. You have a relationship to yourself just like you have to anyone else. You don't you don't admire, you don't look up to, you don't like people that do certain things, so you can't be guilty of the same things yourself, or else you won't like like the reason why I think so highly of myself, without being like a narcissist thinking, oh, I'm better than everyone else are just little ants beneath me or something. But it's because I'm really embodying everything I think a man should be. Of course, there's room for, like, I think I'm doing really well than most people I know with these things. So how can I not just be very impressed and admire myself and just think that, of course, women would want me. Like, it's their loss. They're strange. They're messed up if they don't want me. I'm not that interested in getting their attention. So you get a whole long spiel to your thing there, but I hope something was helpful. Pulse reloaded. Can you give an example of flexing or stunting gone wrong? I don't know what you mean by that, so no, I can't. Peace 76. The steroid topic is polarizing in a similar way to how AI is shaking up the art world. Nobody knows what to make of it entirely, but it tends to draw battle lines. I don't think it's the exact same thing. but I see what you mean. RM, would you choose a job closer to home so you can go by bike to work but pays less? Or a job that pays a bit more but you have to be in the car every day for 40 minutes, single drive? It's too little information. Like I don't have to make these choices, first of all, so I pick none of the jobs. Um, I mean, because I'm guessing you're in this position. Like, what matters to you the most? Does the pay make a huge difference for you, or do you value the exercise you get on your way to the job more? Like, it matters. It's not like there's anything wrong with taking a car to a job that's good for you. Um, so it's up to you. Paco. I take coconut oil pills right before bedtime to get me deeper into REM sleep. All right. Edward Rook. How do you get back to your training routine after becoming sick and having to go through several weeks of recovery? My work is very physical, and if I get sick, I can only work and sleep. Um, you can work and sleep? I mean, it sounds like you have a problem with, you shouldn't be that. How do you get that sick, even? I don't. Like, I was surprised that I even got sick some weeks ago. It was the first time I got sick from like no apparent reason. But yeah, like, I mean, how do you get back to your training routine? By getting back to it when you can. I mean, I have to trust you that you get too sick to train, then just get back to it. It's like just start training again. Oh, you might have to start at a slightly lower level than you left off at, but just go back. Are you an active Christian nowadays? Kalle Sirén asks. No, I have a general belief in God. To be honest, I've been thinking about it because so many people ask me about Christianity and that. And honestly, I'm sorry, but I'm always going to have to look at the being a follower of one religion is a more like immature form of spirituality. Like, if you think there is one true religion, in my view, you yeah, well, you don't quite know God yet, because if you do, you'll know that all these religions are just different paths, different interpretations, different attempts to describing the way to the same thing, which is God. So no, I'm not a Christian. You know, it's kind of like in Hinduism, where you have a bunch of gods that like people will pray to and stuff, but the more like enlightened, further enlightened Hinduists know that these gods, they're not really a thing. They are just sort of means for people with lesser spiritual development to be able to, you know, practice some kind of spirituality, like different degrees of consciousness. And yeah, the Christians always, you know, first of all, I think Christians approach with like they kind of push Jesus on you, you know, which I think no one likes. You'll never convince anyone by being like, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. It's kind of like, I don't feel like it now when you're coming shoving it in my face like that. But yeah, I get these kinds of guys, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I will never be able to look at it as something else, that you're offering me something that I've already outgrown. You know, Jesus will have to appear in my face and say, look, bro, I am the way, this is the real religion. Then I'll believe it, you know. Ime R has been following my channel for a good while and wanted to inform me that he followed through with his first 48-hour fast the other day, and he's definitely going to incorporate 24 to 48 hours fast going forward. Well, that's good to hear, Jimmy. I'm glad I inspired you to do that. I advise you, though, to take just one day further. One day further, because it's right after 48 hours that it becomes more interesting, and to be honest, kind of the easy. That's when it starts to become easy a lot of the time, too. Mm. Wind Windhoek, any thoughts on bacon? Not much. I don't eat much of it these days. Um, like, yeah, when I think about pork, I just go by my own experience, is that red meat from beef, I seem to be able to eat like just very much, and I don't get any problems with digestion or anything. But if I eat too much pork, my gut won't handle it well. So, I think bacon, it's a decent food, but my thing would be like probably don't eat too much of it. If I went to the States, I would, or just like checked in at a hotel, to be honest, I would probably enjoy some eggs and bacon for breakfast. It's nice, it's a good source of sodium. Wul- Wolfgar, any snacks you recommend that go well with coffee? I just can't drop habit of eating 2 protein bars every day. That's like stupid 400 calories. Um, well, are you eating the protein bars with your coffee? That's interesting. I don't have any snacks to recommend because I generally don't snack at all. I even have a video like no more snacking or something like that. No, but bro, it's kind of like it's not the worst thing in the world. I see a protein bar is like a transition food. If you leaning a bit on protein bars to stick away from something worse right now, is that's what you're doing? It's like okay, I ate more protein bars before too. It's like it's a gradual process of fine tuning everything, you know. Last piece of bacon for you. Bacon. I say it just because I got a liver. A good way to force yourself to do things is to do it in front of other people and say you're gonna do it. Now, I promise you, it was some time ago since I ate all my liver pieces raw, but now I'm just like, show the guys, see how tough I am. I can, I can eat the raw liver. Mm. It's a great concept from the snake diet, actually, the accountability pose. Post your big fat body in front of everyone and tell them you're gonna do a fast. Like for me, of course, I was never that fat when I fasted, but still, just telling everyone that you're gonna do it. So when you have weak moments, kind of like I have to, or else I'm a failure and everyone will know. Mm. Hey guys, like the stream if you haven't already. 48 guys here. And consider showing your support with a super chat. I appreciate it a lot. Oh, okay. I have to go without snooze. Um, let's see. Hey man, Tressner says, hey man, what's up? Change this one a little bit. Micah. When you started working out for the first time, how long did it take for you to see some real muscle growth? Real? You mean all muscle growth is real. I mean, I understand that you somehow mean, oh no, but I mean like more. I mean like significant. It's still an arbitrary definition. Like, when I had trained for like 4.5 months, that's the first transformation picture I ever posted. I have gone from skinny fat to like abs, somewhat athletic looking, quite small still. I probably weighed like, what can it have been? 71 kilos. And I'm not super lean. Like I'm lean, but not like now even. Um, After a year, I had muscle on my frame. I had a shoulder vein. I had a bicep vein. Um, yeah, but it's like it can go even faster for you. I didn't do everything right. That's a beautiful thing with coaching. After all this, I can just completely skip all the mistakes I did with myself. Um, it's just that, of course, a lot of people, just because I know what they should do, doesn't mean that they are able to do it. But it's interesting. It's one guy I had a long time ago when I started coaching just on the side for a very low price. And um, yeah, the skinny fat guy, literally never been in a gym. and he thought we were just gonna do weight loss stuff. And like, no, you're gonna go to the gym. And the thing about this guy was he just did everything. And we put in on quite something quite simple: 2 full body workouts per week, OMAD. Just eat one big meal every day. And I remember this guy, he looked very different after just 1 month. And we kept going a bit. The strange thing about this guy was that he just disappeared, even though everything was going well. Um, I don't know what happened to him, but just to say, that was a guy, skinny fat, in the perfect position to just grow bunch of muscle while fat is kind of melting off. I started to see the first step to that. But going with a guy like that for half a year, who just does everything I say, it would be insane. No one would believe it was half a year, you know. Uh, let's see here. Pig 76. Christianity has many universal symbols. The Aum. Hey, I just see the screen lagging on my computer here. I just want to make sure it's actually working. Yeah. Do you know